and welcome. Now, this has been the big news circling in the cricket circle since last night. The Board of Control for Cricket in India sent out a lookout notice for India's next coach after Rahul Dravid exits in June 2024. Applications have been invited, and the last date for application is 27th of May. We have learned from our sources in the BCCI that they are looking to consider Stephen Fleming, former New Zealand captain, as the successor to Rahul Dravid. NDTV has learned that BCCI has already spoken to Fleming, but the Kiwi is yet to confirm his availability. His track record with CSK in the IPL, having won 4 IPL titles for them and 2 Champion Leagues, make him one of the top contenders. Plus, his man management abilities are also being considered. He will be put to test if he comes in, because he will have to manage the transition of 2 of India's stalwarts, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. We will talk about this big story that has been doing the round since last evening. I have with me Deputy Editor of Hindu, Rakesh Rao, to talk about it. Rakesh, your first reaction: not the first time India will be coached by a Kiwi, not the first time India will look towards a foreign coach, but would you say Fleming now looks like the best option?
Well, Fleming looks a good option, no question about it, given his experience, given the kind of knowledge which he has about the Indians in particular, be it, the well-known names. Apart from that, all those guys who are on the fringe, he has seen them all. And that makes him a very strong candidate, yes. Also, the fact that India has decided to consider a foreign coach, that itself is news, because there was a time when Indians said that we've had enough of them and we wanted to groom our own, but then I don't think we have quality coaches here, because we have cricketers turned coaches who are not coaches, in the true sense, that they are not, so to speak, certified coaches, or they don't have the coaching skills. They just go on with their job based entirely on their experience. Now, here is a man who's well-traveled. He has been in different conditions. He has coached different teams. But primarily, he is a coach for the white ball thing. We haven't really seen how well he can contribute in the longer version of the game. But given his experience, he can be a very strong candidate, yes.
Rakesh, while you're talking about, in India, players becoming coaches and not having the adequate ability, look at what the minimum criteria is. The criteria that has been set by BCCI itself looks like very stiff for many of the cricketers to fulfill. Many of the cricketers who might otherwise probably become good coaches will be difficult for them to fulfill the kind of the number of test crickets and the ODI cricket that has been asked for.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The point here is that a lot of people apply now, even for a post of, selectors. People just apply just because you played the game. Same thing happens in India when you seek applications, when you are inviting applications. Anybody who thinks he's something just applies. For me, it is like you have to be qualified to do the job. So here is a man who looks qualified, yes. And my second option would be Sangakkara. I think even Sangakkara has seen enough of Indian cricket. He is intelligent, he has a mind of his own, and he is a very good communicator. Now, all these things, if Stephen Fleming, for whatever reason, says no, because his plate is full, as I can see, he has a lot of international commitments. He also has, and he's not the one who seems very keen to spend 10 months in India or with the Indians. But at the same time, you'll have to offer him a deal which he can't refuse. So a lot of things yet to happen. But then, my point is that if what we are talking about, that is Stephen Fleming being a front runner, and front runner by a mile already has taken the lead, then this entire exercise of inviting applications and stuff like that, that itself looks meaningless. Because if what we are saying is, eventually if that comes true, then this entire exercise is absolutely, it's a waste of time. Because if you have already approached, because the news says, or whatever is trickling out of the BCCI office or the so-called high-placed sources. Uh, my point is that if it is a leak, it puts BCCI in very poor light. Because if they eventually go ahead with Stephen Fleming, then you are insulting all the other potential candidates. Because you have already made up your mind. It is like you're selecting, you're selecting the candidate first and setting the question paper later. And that interview has absolutely no meaning. So let's not, put too much into it. But then eventually, if it is going to be Stephen Fleming, which we are talking on this day, which is still, I think, 12 days before the last date for applications to close.
Right.
Now, that itself shows that BCCI has done something which it obviously didn't intend. But if it is a leak, then it's a very unfortunate leak.
Rakesh, you've spoken about, India's willingness once again to go back to a foreign coach, and that's because there are no potential Indian coaches. There was a point when, India was looking at VVS Lakshman as the successor perhaps to Rahul Dravid, having promoted him to the National Cricket Academy as the head of the National Cricket Academy. Is that not an option right now?
See, personally, I mean, knowing how, that VVS Lakshman is a very fine human being. He has a cricketing sense. But as a coach, I'm sorry, I don't think he has that kind of persona or the kind of skill sets to be a coach of a team. He's too good to be a coach. He's just too soft. So Rahul Dravid, he wasn't so, he was far more assertive. Now, for somebody like Lakshman, if you're considering Lakshman, knowing him for close to 30 years, I wouldn't put his name up as a coach. He could be a consultant, yes. He could be, you can always, consult, or you can put things on his table and ask him for his views. But as a traveling coach, as a chief coach with coaches under him, assistant coaches, bowling coaches, fielding coaches, and so on and so forth, I don't see him, still ready for the job.
Rakesh, let me ask you this question. CSK had fabulous success, winning 5 titles with Dhoni at the helm. How much credit of that success will you really give to Stephen Fleming? You are talking about VVS Lakshman being a mild person, not having that much say over his men. But what about Fleming with a powerful captain like MS Dhoni in Chennai Super Kings? How much say would he have had?
Pretty much. I mean, it's like it's almost like two people who know their sport, who know their stuff, sitting and talking about what is best for CSK. So for me, there I think he was an equal partner. But having considered Dhoni, I mean, now I'm just trying to underline what I think about Dhoni. I think Dhoni was one of the finest cricketing brains that India has ever seen, and he was a true all-rounder. Now, when I say all-rounder, a wicket-keeper all-rounder, a captain all-rounder, yes. What he did was he brought out the best out of the spinners in particular. Even if you ask a certain Ishant Sharma, he'll tell you that he went up to, even he has gone on record saying from the presentation area that I pitched the ball where Mahi's, Mahi Bhai wanted me to pitch the ball. Right. Now imagine the kind of reading that he had. Now, his reading is going to reflect in Stephen Fleming's thinking when he joins the Indian dressing room in the official capacity of the chief coach. So I'll see a lot of Dhoni in it. So because these two guys together have changed the entire fortune of CSK, and that is going to come together. Of course, Dhoni won't be seen, obviously not. But the input given by Dhoni, the discussions that Stephen Fleming has had with Dhoni, that's all, I mean, they all are likely to reflect when Stephen Fleming takes a call.
We are also joined by cricket blogger Rishi Chhabra. Rishi, we are talking about the big story since last evening, BCCI having dialed Stephen Fleming, discussions on whether he could become the next India coach. Now, having followed Indian cricket closely, would you say it is one thing to be a coach of a successful franchise or a few successful franchises, another thing to be the coach of a national team, a high-profile national cricket team like India?
I mean, yes, Rika, but let's not forget, Stephen Fleming, he's been the IPL coach for Chennai Super Kings for so long. And in the IPL, we all know it's a domestic tournament. We only have 4 international players playing in the 11. But, it is actually the Indian players that you have to manage in the IPL and bring the best out of you. So clearly, the success that he had with Chennai Super Kings, I think it's phenomenal. And like Sir said, with MS Dhoni right next to him, he's he's had that experience of, how MS Dhoni thinks and how the Indian team kind of works, because MS Dhoni also led the Indian team for so long. So overall, the experience that Fleming has brought to the CSK team has been, exceptional. And we've had Stephen Fleming, be the coach of Indian team. The talks happening before as well, a few years back. But I think, he's probably the best option that we have in terms of a foreign coach going forward.
Rakesh, let me ask you, if whoever comes in now, whether it's Stephen Fleming, whether it's someone else, what will be the biggest challenge? Is it managing the transition of two of India's biggest, best-known cricketers, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, or grooming the next captain, or what is it that will be a big challenge for him?
Far too many things break up, because first of all, imagine the team minus Rohit, minus Virat. That is the first thing. But then if you're looking at grooming a captain or looking for a replacement, obviously you'll have a few names. I dare not say this, but if our option for white ball cricket begins with Hardik, then think again. But knowing Stephen Fleming, I think he'll go with more of experience, man management skills, because he's seen it all. That's why I have a lot of faith in his abilities. Though we are yet to see how he deals with the Indian team, because yes, you very rightly said that's very different to be part of a franchisee where you still have things under control, but not so much of expectations, where the fans are not so vocal, where you're not questioned every now and then. Everything is under the microscope. But the point is that Stephen Fleming's challenges, yes, one is the transition. That shouldn't be a problem, because on one hand we say we have more than 35 first-class teams in this country. We have a problem of plenty, a good headache to have, and so on. All these are cliches. When you see the Indian playing 11, it's still those number,
right.
At least 9 people just walk into the team. So what are we talking about? So this guy will still go with those reputation and reputed names. That's what he has done with CSK. Let's look at his track record. So you don't see a lot of youngsters just getting in just because they impress you with one knock. I mean, you can't expect a Arshad Khan to just walk in tomorrow and say, oh my God, can we consider him for the next World Cup? No. I mean, just give people a break. I mean, come on, let's hold our horses. But the point here is we are dealing with a man, or we are looking at a man like Stephen Fleming. He's mature. He's not going to get too excited about just one-off shows. He'll give people time. And that's what I expect him to do. He'll be giving long rope to a lot of people. A lot of opportunities will be given to players that he trusts, that if they have it in them, they deserve a longer rope.
Right. Rakesh and Rishi, do stay on with us. We have to discuss a little bit more, but this time about the IPL and the knockout scenario. It's intense competition in the qualification for the knockout. 6 teams are fighting for as many as 3 spots. Now, let's have a look at who these 6 teams are. Chennai. What is their scene right now? If they win versus RCB, they are through. A loss will not knock them out, but it'll be a tricky situation for them. Bengaluru, if they win versus Chennai, improve their net run rate and hope to beat Chennai, then they are going to go through. But they'll also have to hope for other teams to lose. Lucknow win the last game by huge margin and hope for other teams to lose, but they are virtually out of the qualification race. Let me go over to my guests once again and ask Rakesh, you've been talking about Chennai and Hyderabad going through. Do you still see Chennai and Hyderabad, the last 2 teams apart from KKR and Rajasthan?
Yes, I still hold that opinion. Because I feel that in the last game, Chennai have to ensure that they don't lose by a huge margin, and the difference between the 2 teams isn't much. The RCB is on a roll, no question about it. They are playing at home, and they are desperate to win. I mean, they are more desperate than probably any other team. The pressure will be on CSK, but I still feel that CSK is going to go through. That's my take. I mean, it can be 51-49, but I'll go with that extra percentage for CSK. And you said 6 teams. No, I don't think 6 teams are seriously in the hunt, because we are not looking at the form and the scenario and the net run rate. No matter what you do in the last match.
I meant mathematically.
Mathematically, yes. But even that, Rika, look hard. If you think that a team is going to turn, just look at LSG's net run rate. You
They're
give them a
virtually
big
out,
victory.
after last night.
You think they're going to turn it around? It's like mathematically, as I said, a lot of things are possible. But let's get real. Let's get more real. Let's not get carried away by emotions. I often felt that, look, RCB has done extremely well to win the last few games. Fantastic effort, no doubt about it. Their fans are upbeat, super. But the point is, when you don't have control over your own fate, you want X number of teams to win and N number of teams to lose, and they shouldn't win N number of matches, and the other team should win all their matches. All these parameters are laughable. But yes, now we have reached a point where I think two teams are seriously in the hunt. Till yesterday evening, if LSG had to win both, their last remaining two matches, they would have overtaken both RCB and CSK and rendered the result of their match meaningless. Because I'm assuming that SRH needs just one win to go past the 14-point mark, which is 16, which other teams can't catch up. So not more than 4 teams are going to reach 16 points maximum. And one team with the best net run rate among those with 14 points is going to go through. So that is where the key margin of defeat or victory, whichever way you want to look at it,
and that you think is SRH?
RCB match is going to decide.
And that you think the last team that could qualify, you think is SRH, Hyderabad?
SRH, yeah, SRH for sure. SRH for sure. I'm not even considering that SRH is out of it. My third team is SRH. But the trouble with with the Rajasthan Royals is if SRH wins big, they will not be among the top 2 teams. So RR has a problem, which is a hidden problem. They know they have qualified, but SRH is lurking right behind because they have 2 matches in hand. Their net run rate is far, far superior to most of the teams. So look out for that result. SRH could well be your team number 2.
But Rakesh, when we talk about SRH, it has had a fantastic season, so many 200 scored. But when they have lost, they have also lost very badly. That's been one of the talking points of the season, losing badly and
losing big,
also registering big wins.
See, Rika, for them, the problem has not been, their only issue is how well they bowl. Their bowlers are capable of conceding. It is like RCB with a different name. RCB has a very ordinary attack for years. And this time, SRH is actually doing that. But the difference is here, their batters are coming good. And if they bat first, they have done very well. But once they showed that if they know how to chase a total of 150 plus in under 10 overs. So they have shown that as well. But the point is, it's not going to happen every day. But SRH, because of the fact that they're going to play their remaining games at home, then that gives them a huge advantage. Now they have the confidence that they can even chase down. That is one box which was not ticked. So now suddenly there is this confidence that, look, we can chase as well. And their bowlers can concede 200 runs, but their batters are confident of overtaking that target.
Absolutely. Rishi, one last question before we wrap up the discussion. Chennai has had a hot and cold season. Do you see them go through?
Absolutely, Rika. I mean, Bangalore has been a very good ground for Chennai Super Kings. Dhoni has performed really well there. But, the kind of motivation that we need, I think just one win and we make it to the playoffs. I know it's been a up and down season, not the kind of season that we expected. But Rituraj leading the team, I think we've done pretty well. And probably, we just need that small luck that making it to the playoffs and then that extra motivation that, to go on and try and make it to the finals and then lift the cup. So Chennai is definitely on top.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me to discuss several big stories this morning.